by Corvina Seafood Grill in Boca.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Beefo, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the creme cram sauce with the awesome bay, with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon again. And for the second live show day in a row, we're doing a day-evening doubleheader on the Lunchbox. I'm exhausted. I was up on a plane at LaGuardia Airport at about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. But it is my pleasure to welcome back to the Lunchbox. We're at a new location, but with the old familiar face, Eddie Pozzoli, operating partner here at Corvina Seafood Grill, Boca Raton. How are you, Eddie? Welcome back.
Doing great. Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming out and making the trek up to Boca again.
Oh, it's no bother. It's a lot.
You were a smart
Especially
man.
after your day of traveling.
You were smart, yeah, but he was a smart man in how he scheduled it. He's like, okay, I'm going to be on a flight all day. Let me go to Corvina.
Yeah.
It's freaking happy. We're here. It's happy hour.
Yep.
It's Wine Wednesday. Mayo was a smart man. He's gotten here by his brains, not just his mouth.
I tell you what, I-95 North can be sometimes a little tricky, especially around the evening rush hour, but it is a complete picnic compared to the roadways of New York City, except at 4 in the morning. That is a good time to get around New York. Otherwise, it's gridlock central everywhere, which is crazy. So it gives me an appreciation somewhat for South Florida, especially for the weather here and, of course, the hospitality business and the restaurants here. I love coming out, especially to see you, whether it's at the other place, Prezzo. But talk a little bit about your affiliation with Corvina, and how it all came about and what's going on here.
So a lot of great things going on right now with the restaurant, with us as a company, with our amazing employees that have been with us. Ton of growth happening. Long story short, we have our two Prezos that we brought one Prezo, I guess, back from the dead in the easiest way to put it. Opened the second one. Both restaurants have been doing great. And I have some friends that came and opened Corvina as equity partners, and long family friends, and they reached out to us and this past summer and wanted a little bit more of a local influence on
somebody who knows the lay of the land.
Exactly.
Boca can be a little bit, let's say, difficult terrain to navigate for outsiders. I was talking with Eduardo before, and
they coming from DC. This group, it was difficult, and you really have to have a solid foundation in South Florida.
You
Boca,
have to have a finger on the pulse of the community
to know what's going on, and fortunately, I was born and raised here. I've been in the business now in South Florida for more years than I want to even admit.
Yes. And for those who don't know, him and his family had a long-running Italian restaurant up in Coral Springs, and now Eddie is branched out. He's a young hustler. He's a go-getter. He's a guy that I really appreciate, people in the business who are like coming up, young, hungry. They want to get involved. They want to, I guess, bring concepts and good hospitality and good food to more people, right?
That's really what it's about. Is we truly enjoy what we do. The greatest thing that happens, or that we see what happens, what comes out of our business is watching some employees that have started with us, whether it be busboy, dishwasher, whatever, kind of come through the ranks, and whether or not they stay in the restaurant business or do something else, like that, I feel is one of the greatest gifts that we've gotten out of the restaurant business, outside of meeting a ton, obviously a ton of guests and a ton of great friends through it, is truly seeing like people grow and blossom, whether it's staying in the business or becoming a pilot. We've got somebody that was working with us at Tavolino's that he's gone on, he's now a private pilot, and he's doing phenomenally. And stuff like that just really makes it all worth it.
The industry breeds success. You're kind of like a college football coach, the family. Like you have people who become proteges. You teach them life skills and discipline.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. It's not always about. I mean, yes, we're serving food and drinks, but the restaurant business is like a microcosm of life.
Yep.
Like different stuff happens in the restaurant every single day. It's not like you're coming doing the exact same
sure.
thing.
That's an understatement.
Every day is different.
Figuring out like how do we get past this? How do we get through this?
Right.
How do we do this? This person called off. Like being able to kind of bob and weave and figure out what works, what doesn't work, how to make people happy. You have, on any given night, you have hundreds of people to figure out what works or what doesn't work with each of them. So,
I give you props because obviously it's a challenging restaurant business. Hospitality is always challenging because you're trying to please everybody all the time, which is not humanly possible. But you guys can come close. It's like in the newspaper business. You can't sometimes get everything right. If you got 500 facts in the story, you get one little thing wrong. That's the thing you hear about.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing in the restaurant biz.
I know
you
all
can
about
put out
that.
200, you have 200 covers in a night. There's that 1-2 top. That thing's got a little
that's what you
screwy.
remember for the rest
And
of the
then
night.
they're on Let's Eat South Florida and Yelp. And it's, and look, and people have the right to expect, a good
High
experience.
standards,
And you have the high standards. But people have to understand, like you said, some days people get sick and they call out and they give no notice, and then you're scrambling, and then things get and it's the way that you guys can recover. That is really the I guess defining measure. But meanwhile, one way I always recover, Eddie, is you come to a place at happy hour, you get 50% off, and I see Lubie is hogging
He's
some of the
double fisting.
cocktails there. What's going on here? Was that?
I think I
Spread
actually
out
got
that-
confused who was on the flight all day, to be really honest, because I wasn't flying from New York's LaGuardia Airport to Fort Lauderdale today. But Ashley, one of the great bartenders here, put out some of their fantastic drinks. And that's another thing. They not only look like they taste great, and we'll get into them, but they look great. They look a lot of fun. You have the very well-known Pisco Sour. They do a spicy watermelon margarita. And this is my wife's favorite drink. So, hi, babe. I'm drinking on the job a espresso martini, which is a very popular drink, but they don't always look like this. This is fantastic.
It's with the proper 3 espresso beans up top there.
Yep.
But, I've got the Pisco Sour. Eddie, I guess the whole concept behind here was obviously seafood, fish forward, a lot of great local fish, which I love to see because some of these chains that are coming in, they build themselves as seafood places or prime seafood. I don't want to take any shots, but I am taking shots because it bothers me when you go to a menu, see a menu, and there's no local fish. There's no stone crab. There's no,
Especially with the fish we have here.
Yeah,
and
phenomenal.
I mean, hello.
Why go anywhere else?
So you guys are featuring local fish, and not only that, local flavors. You got a lot of dishes that have a South American spin on it, between ceviches from Peru, and you have that Brazilian seafood stew, right? And then you have some of the cocktails to match, like a Pisco Sour, right?
So, the team here, when I can't say enough good things about the team that has been here, from the inception. They have
This opened
created,
when? Like 2-3 years
November
ago?
of 2021.
Okay.
They all, they came down from DC. They had
It's
some.
almost been 3 years. So, wow, that's crazy. Yeah,
They had some concepts up in DC, super successful. And Chef Jeff, who will be on here shortly, he's
Jeff Tunks is his
Jeff
name?
Tunks. Yeah.
Yeah. And
He's got a phenomenal pedigree for and his history in the business is unreal, like unmatched. He truly is an amazing chef. The team that came along with him, their ideas were phenomenal. They truly care about what they do. They put passion into everything they do, and that's what drew us to wanting to partner up here and making it happen, because like we love the idea, we love the concept. We know that seafood works in South Florida, especially as fresh as we do.
Yep.
We knew it'd be a home run for us to jump in and make it happen. So
yeah, and I came out here probably about a couple of months after it opened, and I had a really nice meal, and I was really blown away by the Brazilian, the cheese bread with the tapioca
flour.
Yeah, the tapioca flour. So it's I guess gluten friendly. It's you can.
Oh, nice.
Again, those were really nice, and that's kind of a more of a South American touch, and then some of the other dishes between I had some grilled oysters here that were just outstanding. I assume that's still a backbone of the menu.
Yeah, we have the fresh oysters.
Right.
I believe we did pull off the the charbroiled oysters.
No.
I believe.
Okay, because I thought I saw somebody was in here recently and posted another picture of them because that was good. But hey, raw oysters, I'm always down
Big
for
fan,
that.
yep,
Big
yep.
fan of raw items, and of course, I think you also still do the. There's some scallops. I remember there was a
Oh
scallop
yeah,
dish.
you
Scallop
send me
dish,
pictures of these
phenomenal.
scallops. They look ridiculous.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's the kind of things that people can find here.
Sushi.
Sushi you've added
Mm-hmm.
because everybody in South Florida loves sushi, and that I guess that's the kind of touch that you bring is like say, hey,
We've got this. Why not do this?
Right.
Yeah.
This is a lot of restaurants are adding some sort of sushi program to their menu because it truly is a great thing for people to share,
Yep.
enjoy, and it's healthy. And we have this super fresh seafood, so why not do
use
some
it?
sort of sashimi, nigiri, or sushi roll with it? And it works great.
It makes sense to me. And so, again, they've been around November of 21, so it's 2.5 years. And then you've kind of come along and are helping them, again, with the local market. What are some of the things that I guess you've tweaked since coming on and that you found that the community has responded to?
So we started a couple different new promotions to kind of just get the name back out there again, because after being open for 2 years, you got to try to figure out a new way to turn the wheels again to get some more attention to us. We know there's a million different restaurants opening every different month in South Florida. So what we did is we did some really aggressive promotions, one of them being Tower Tuesdays, which has taken off like more than we can even imagine.
Is that like tower as in seafood tower?
Seafood tower. So every
Okay.
Tuesday all night we do half off seafood towers.
Really?
That's a great idea.
Because I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I have a buddy who owns his own establishment, and they do a seafood tower. And a buddy of mine, we were eating there, went to order it, and he shook his head. He's like, "It's great for us because it's like I don't know, like 80, I don't know, whatever it was priced. It was like the highest price thing." But he's like, "I don't understand why people get it. It's a lot, and no one ever really
It's
gets
impressive.
into it."
It's a beautiful thing to look at.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew as a critic when I was at the Sun Sentinel, I'd always say, well, it's kind of a tourist thing,
It's like a lot.
item. But
It's
when you give it half
If
off,
you're going to do half off, more people will get into it, and you can treat it as an appetizer,
exactly.
and people will get into it and go after it.
It's a phenomenal deal, and what's really cool about it is it's almost like one of those things where if you see it there,
you're going to eat it.
and there,
Right.
you're going to be like, oh, I should get one of those. Or you walk into the restaurant, you see one on every table, you feel like you don't want to be that table that doesn't have
right.
it.
Yep.
FOMO.
Yeah, exactly.
Fear of
So
missing out.
you maybe you have a normal night where you sell 5
Or
towers.
fear of missing oysters, as
There
the
you go.
case may
Obviously.
be. But yeah, no, and that's a great idea because not only do you give people a taste of something that might be, a higher end item that maybe they think they can't afford and then they'll try it, but maybe they'll say, oh, wow, I really like that particular item on it. I guess if you have some shrimp, and then next
whether
time
you
they'll
do the
get a
shrimp
shrimp
cocktail
cocktail. Yeah, so it kind of leads them to the next time they're here. If it's not on a Tuesday, they'll get some other items that maybe individually, or maybe they'll just say, hey, it's so good, I'll pay full freight this time.
Yeah, exactly. And it truly is a phenomenal deal. It's not something that we brag that we make money on a Tower Tuesday, but
It's a lost leader sometimes.
Exactly.
You gotta,
so it's we think it's phenomenal, and I love the view of seeing towers on every table.
That's
fun.
On a Tuesday night. It's a really
What are
great
some of the,
feeling.
because I noticed there's a
whole
billboard
board,
out front
yeah. So,
that has
okay,
every
so-
weeknight of the week. So
Yeah,
let's
we've
run through
got
it
some
quick.
action going on here.
Yeah.
So Wednesdays we do Wine Wednesday, as we do with our other
Half
restaurants.
It's half off a bottle of wine?
Half off bottles.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then 25% off bottles over $100.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
So the premium bottles, you're still getting a good break.
Yeah, that's a
and
nice
then
cut.
the other ones, that's everybody
That's
goes
insane.
50% off on.
And then Thursdays we do our ladies' night where we do complimentary bubbles for ladies from 7 to 9.
Oh, wow.
We've got that's at the bar. We've got a.
Do they have to order a certain like a dish or an
What's it
entree?
No,
They
we
could
just
just
do
show
flat-
up and
yeah.
you'll
You're
get
just
them.
giving them bubbles.
Nice. Wow.
And
that's
we
a
have
deal.
live entertainment on Thursdays, so a little dancing going on, some action at the bar, just to kind of make it fun. Give that fun vibe. Saturdays is something that we started actually to bring a little bit of youth and energy into the weekend nights. Something called Santorini Saturdays.
Ooh, I love Santorini.
So what Chef did
That's a
is
great call.
he put together a phenomenal Greek menu that we do every Saturday. along with some Greek wines, Greek cocktails with some ouzo, and
Nice.
everybody.
Yeah,
Yep.
just drop it
Oh,
in there.
speaking of
Beautiful.
Greek,
There we
got
go.
Alex right here.
Oh, nice.
Hey,
Um,
Yasu Yamas. All good. Okay. We've got some apps coming in, and this is going to be spotlighting the happy hour menu. But again, going back to the Saturday, like the Greek Isles
exactly.
theme.
So everybody
Yeah,
dresses
that's
in
great.
white, like
Nice.
like you're in the
Yep,
islands.
That's Santorini. Yep.
And we've got a guitarist here playing the coastal Mediterranean music, and it's a lot of fun. It's something different,
and it goes with the
Goes to South Florida.
it goes with the environment because the inside decor is very light and bright. It does feel like a kind of a Santorini vibe
Exactly.
inside.
Yep.
If we're parked outside today because it's such gorgeous weather, and we've got to
We're holding
take
on to this
advantage
as long as
of
we
it.
can.
And you have a beautiful patio
patio's
out
great.
here. You've got the indoor-outdoor bar. The way it's cut is kind of like both. It serves both inside and outside, and this, I'm sure, is where the happy hour action unfolds every Monday through Friday, 4 to 7 p.m.
So this everything on the happy hour?
No, it's almost everything, but
Yeah.
we've got a fair amount.
What do we got? Like, okay, so again, so happy hour, half off the specialty cocktails, including premium liquors and beer, $3 off wine by the glass. This is Monday through Friday, 4 to 7, and this is something you don't see every day, especially in Boca. Weekends included 4 to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. You can actually get happy hour
Really?
on a weekend afternoon from 4 to 6. That, I say,
So
Eddie
Saturday
Fazzoli,
you could do the happy hour, and then you will
is-
be also doing the Santorini.
Yep.
That's
And
Saturday.
after that, yep.
Oh, that's
we'll go right into it. Oh, we got Chef right here.
That's some forward thinking. All right, I'm going to slide over now, and we're going to get Chef Jeff involved, and then we're going to go over all these lovely. I guess these are all $10 bites now, right?
Yep.
Going on for the happy hour again, 4 to 7 weekdays, 4 to 6 p.m. Saturday and
We're all
Sunday.
family here, Chef.
And we're going to get a headset on you, Chef Jeff, and welcome you to the Lunchbox. I'm Mike Mayo. Pleasure to meet you. I've eaten your food before. It's really good. Yeah, all good. Yeah. It was a while. It was a while. He
Remembers your order. Jeez.
I know, and that's scary.
Chefs are like, I thought my ex-wife was bad remembering everything, but that's pretty
I've got a few of those
impressive.
myself, unfortunately.
But no, I remember those scallops well. It was delicious.
Yeah,
We had some ceviche. I love the Brazilian, the tapioca
The
cheese.
pata queijo,
all
yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Lunchbox, and
Great.
how's it been going?
Welcome to Corvina. It's been
Yeah.
going good. We've had a good season, and of course, it's hard to beat this weather today. I mean, this is the epitome of living in Boca.
This is it. And again, for those who don't know where Corvina is, it's 110 Plaza Real South.
Right.
It's tucked in. There's a little bit of a maze down here when you go south of Palmetto Park Road. It's not that hard to find.
It was easy to
GPS
find.
has it.
It was easy to find.
Okay, because the first time I was here, it hadn't
Yeah, it
been
was a little
programmed
bit
to
more
the
difficult,
GPS.
I
But
think, yeah.
now, again, plenty of on-street, parking, metered
Got
parking
valet,
garages,
Complimentary
valet.
free valet.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
you can get here, and then once you get here, you're going to find this. What did you prepare for us
This is some
today?
of our happy hour offerings. We have a pretty extensive menu considering. I think we have like 12 or 13 different
Oh,
things.
wow.
We obviously focus on seafood. We've got to the very left in front of you, we have our spring rolls. It's a shrimp and rice vermicelli spring rolls with a sweet chili non-plus sauce for a dipping sauce. And we serve it on a lettuce wrap. So a good way to sometimes to pick them up with the lettuce, and sometimes there's
I'm
like a
gonna do
holder,
just
and
that.
that's our sort of traditional way for a dipping sauce. And then next to that, we're going from Asia to a little bit of Latin America. We have some fresh ahi tuna taquitos. So they're miniature little corn tortilla shells there with some ahi chopped tuna, really simple olive oil, a little bit of salt. And then we top that with some house-made guacamole, some pickled red onions, a little bit of cotija cheese, and a chili de árbol aioli on top of that. And
Wow,
then
that's a lot of stuff going in.
it
that
is
little
sort of small
package.
bites,
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit, but it's in the same tune that we use from our sushi program. We use for that. And then speaking of sushi, our sushi chef made us. We do a simple salmon maki, spicy salmon maki tuna roll for happy hour with some natural white pickled ginger and wasabi.
So all these items are $10 on the
$10,
happy hour, right?
Wow.
and then we have in the middle here we have our house smoked a fish dip, which is very popular in southern Florida. Obviously, we do it sort of Waldorf style.
That's
so
what I was going to say. I see some raisins. I see some almonds.
yeah, so
right?
actually it's the traditional
Walnuts,
Waldorf salad is
walnuts,
walnuts, celery, apples, and grapes, which is all infused into our house smoked mahi. A little bit of mayonnaise, a little bit of horseradish, lemon juice, and then we make an everything bagel chip or crisp to go along with
like
that.
a bagel.
Yeah. So we take some local bagels, we slice them very thin on the slicer, we put a little bit of butter on them, and then some everything bagel seasoning, and bake them to the crisp. And then in the middle, or next to that, we have our sort of deconstructed. It's a crab rangoon dip.
Ooh.
So traditional crab rangoon is sort of made,
wow.
it folded into like a anelote type shape. But we put them into a gratin dish, and it's got claw crab meat, a little bit of lemon juice, cream cheese, sour cream, a little bit of ginger, and then we serve that with some wonton crisp and then some sweet Thai chili, so you can sort of build your own chip with that. And then to the very right in front of me is sort of our shrimp nachos. We lay them out flat so each nachos get an equal fair amount of cheese. That was sort of my pet peeve with those stacked up ones. And then we have a little bit of shrimp sauteed with some cumin, some sour cream, some mixture of jalapeno, some pepper jack cheese, and some cheddar cheese. And then we have some house pickled chili, some Fresno, and some jalapeno chilies on top.
You really are spanning the globe here with the flavors and
We
varieties.
are a little Latin American, and I think a little bit Asian and stuff. And then we have some other stuff too. We have like 13 items. We have some traditional cheeseburger sliders that we do for people who are wanting the non-seafood fix. We have some flash roasted cauliflower with a tahini sauce. So we have the vegetarian, check that box there, and with that and everything else. So it's a good variety and very, very popular. So.
And you're still going with, you still have your ceviches and things on the regular menu for the South American.
And that's actually on the happy hour menu too, or ceviche. So like I said, we have 12 or 13 items, so we have a pretty extensive. And then we do some specials. And over St. Patty's Day, we actually had a Reuben egg roll that we served for happy hours. Very popular in this part of Boca. But
yes, it is. Give, I guess, people just a little bit of your background. How did you get started in the biz? And you, again, kind of cut your teeth in the D.C. area. What's been?
Yeah, I've been this in a long time. I went to CIA, Culinary Institute of America, graduated in 1983, so I just had my 40th anniversary.
Wow,
you are.
Yeah, I'm a
OG.
I am a long time. I'm from Dallas originally. Ended up working for Dean Faring, who has a good reputation. He was one of the sort of the godfathers of sort of new Southwestern cuisine. He's got his own restaurant still at the Ritz-Carlton in Dallas.
Which one was that? Is that
well, he was at the Mansion on Troll Creek for many years.
That's the one I was thinking.
And then he's had
Fairings.
He's had Fairings for the last probably 20 years at the Ritz-Carlton down there.
Yeah.
End up going I was a hotel chef at the Lowe's in San Diego for several years in the early 90s. Ended up going to New Orleans, was the chef of the Windsor Court Hotel there in New Orleans for about 3 or 4 years.
He was just there.
Yeah,
and then ended up going up to opening in D.C. And I've had several restaurants. We had D.C. Coast originally and had Acadiana, which was sort of a Creole Cajun restaurant. Had Tin Pin. So some of these are influences of my previous restaurants, going from modern Latin American at Saba to modern contemporary Asian at Tin Pin, Acadiana, some Louisiana roots. And then end up one of our investors or one of our people that we did insurance with had a house down here and wanted to open a restaurant.
Usually works. Somebody has a winter home.
Yeah, that's right. And down here,
you get flown down, and they're saying, "Let's open a restaurant."
And we were in the throes of COVID at the time, and having restaurants in 3 different jurisdictions: Maryland and Montgomery County, Washington D.C., downtown, and then Northern Virginia. And under restrictions, decided to, like a lot of people have, sort of migrated to Florida,
where it was much looser and as
open for business mentality.
When you have outdoor seating, it really was the place to be. It was great.
And I really like it. I just the quality of life, especially now at my age a little bit, I sort of, it's ironic how much of my clientele base that I've known in the DC market have second homes down here or third homes type thing and know our brand and our food from up there. And I live 7 minutes from here, so door to door.
So now you don't go back and forth? Did you
I go
up
back
to
and forth
DC
minimal, but I'm pretty much full time here.
Right.
So pretty much full time.
So you're overseeing the kitchen. And again, nothing but mad respect for a chef who's been in the biz for over 4 decades.
Yeah.
Who's still on the line.
Yeah, I still show my
this
passion.
guy does not leave the line.
Yeah,
he is washing every dish.
I enjoy the craft still, definitely.
Well, and you said something I was actually going to ask you about, so you beat me sort of to it, is I think it's cool that you were in such vastly different markets, from Dallas to New Orleans to D.C.
Well,
that's
our first restaurant we called D.C. Coast because I'd worked on the Mid-Atlantic coast of D.C. previously, and I'd worked on the West Coast in San Diego, on the Gulf Coast in New Orleans. So we sort of brought those 3 distinct coastal cuisines and availability of different types of cultures of food, especially down in New Orleans, and then all the species of West Coast fish and Gulf fish and East Coast fish, and we do that here. We change our menu daily. We're bringing
really?
in, we're trying to source the most sustainable and freshest fish. And I mean, what a great area down here with the local swordfish and golden tile and barrelfish and yellowtail snappers from the Keys, and so you can I'm really enjoying the proximity of how close we are to the actual source for some of the seafood.
Right. And I was mentioning earlier, like, I don't want to mention any names, but something maybe that opened up nearby that also has a branch downtown that people love because the service is nice and they have beautiful build outs. They build themselves as prime seafood, and yet when you look at the menu, you see South African lobster tails, Faroe Island salmon.
Right.
You see things from that, well, let's say, leaves a big carbon footprint, and maybe for somebody like me that wants to see that fresh local bounty featured, you've got it here.
Well, we do a mix of all. I mean, I'm a big fan of Faroe Island salmon. I think it's a sustainable product that's really high end, but I think you got to focus on all the different species because and I think when we first opened here, that was really an underserved niche here. I was really surprised because people think about Florida, think about the Gulf Coast, the
you
Keys,
think grouper, you think snapper,
and I don't think there was that many great seafood restaurants down here. I think then I thought it was our niche that we were able to have a great raw bar program. We're going to have a great sushi program, and then we're doing a daily catch. We're changing every day with 7 or 8 varietals and stuff. I think is really, really, like I said, we can't hard to find, besides some of the fry houses down in the Keys and things like that.
Some of the more honky tonk places.
Yeah,
that
where
are right
everybody
on
has
the
conch
water.
fritter, smoked fish dip, and the key lime pie. It's like the trilogy.
But to find it in a higher end place where you can come out and get a little dressed up on a weekend night and sit in a nicer dining room. It's nice to see.
So
you guys
like he's getting on every couple of days we're getting a full swordfish delivered here.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. I'm buying from a guy named Vince Palmer. He's got Third Wind, so we're dealing with a lot of local boats. We're getting,
so whatever he has.
Right, we're getting golden tile out of the Stewart area and stuff.
Love
and
the golden tile.
It's one of my favorite. I think it's an underutilized, underappreciated fish. I think, but it's sort of a cult following down here. Of course, hog snapper.
I was going to say,
all the different type of mutton snapper, lane snapper, yellowtail snappers. The groupers and stuff like that. But I personally pretty much order, cut, and manage all the fresh fish here, and I know what effort that takes in. So I'm sort of leery when I go out to eat because I know what it takes for us, what we're doing to keep everything fresh and stuff.
So what are your thoughts on? Because it's funny. I don't know if you've heard yet. You've been here a while, but he's a part of a group. He sort of founded a group called Let's Eat South Florida.
My fiance is part of the same group, so she's a big social media girl.
Some people are
you guys
addicted
exploded
to it.
Now. You have like 140,000
almost
followers.
150 at this
150.
point.
I mean,
I started off as a newspaper guy, and I did a lot of different things. Ended up at the buffet line as the food critic.
She also likes Dateline. She saw you on that Dateline Betrayal. I think it was.
People still see that. They replay it, and that was that murder case.
Right.
Scott Rothstein firm, a horrific, thing. But
you were doing crime reporting back then, or
I did it all. I was a sports guy, sports reporter and columnist, news reporter, politics columnist, and then I got wise in my older years and said, why don't I just go out and get paid to eat? And that was pretty good until the time came with COVID, and I took a buyout, and now I've been able to stay in the game.
Right.
And I try to. It's like herding cats. That group. I tell people all the time, I love spotlighting the virtues of the business and spotlighting some of the great people like Eddie, like you, Jeff, the people who have been, they want people to have a great experience. And what I try to tell you people on the group is if something is a little bit off, tell somebody right here in front of you, and they'll try to make it right because that's what the hospitality business is all about.
It's hard to react a night later or something when somebody goes home
online,
and 2 o'clock in the morning and starts doing the anonymous texting or the anonymous
Monday morning quarterbacking.
Posting. That's right. Yeah.
And I always say, what do you want me to do about it? It's like, say something at the time, and you'd be surprised. People are afraid of confrontation. But, if somebody says that
there's no need for confrontation.
If a fish is maybe overcooked to their liking, if maybe they didn't specify at the beginning that they like it on the rare or medium rare side. I mean, do you take offense to that, or you try to handle it?
No, I think at my age, my skin's got pretty thick by now, you know, and something like,
So is my waistline. It's got real thick.
And I think sort of that's the beauty of, we have obviously some chef composed dishes, and we like to not do substitutions and modifications that what I really think is great is that, we have this list of fresh catches where they can pick their fish. They can pick 4 or 5 different companies of sauces, and their side dishes sort of become their own chef, knowing that the fish is going to be impeccably fresh and seasoned and cooked properly. And then they can pick whatever sauce they think matches best for their dietary preferences for that piece of fish. And same thing when it comes to their side dishes. So they're sort of doing their own self-composing here and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that helps us a lot, with a very fickle clientele that anywhere gets with, and I don't want to profile.
You don't want to offend anybody.
No, exactly.
But let me
and
just
stuff.
ask
We're in the
you this.
hospitality industry.
Fickle is the best way to describe South
So
Florida.
let's say compared to
As
the
a whole.
crowd in D.C. or suburban Virginia, suburban
San
D.C.
Diego.
Does the clientele here maybe have, let's say, more discerning and demanding in terms of asking for modifications, or if something can be done a certain way?
I would have to be honest. Yes, I would think so a little
Yeah.
bit. I think, and some of Boca's got a reputation about maybe being a little bit more of an older clientele also, and let people when they get older have some dietary health restrictions,
Right.
so they
Which
want
you
maybe
understand,
lower sodium or things like that, of course, and stuff. And I think that's why. Fresh seafood is a great natural choice for that.
Yeah.
And I think, for example, the bread service you mentioned, the pâte de queijo, it's gluten free, so it checks a box right there instantly.
And it's
being able
delicious.
to, and most of our catches are all gluten free. They're all simply grilled, on the plancha or the char grill, extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of sea salt, parsley, very simply done, but really relying on the freshness of the seafood and our sourcing and our
The
purchasing.
seafood is the star here. It's
And so I
Corvina.
think you fit into you're very approachable to a lot of people at that
Right.
aspect because of that. So
Now, let me ask a quick question. The fish, smoked fish dip,
Right.
what kind of fish is it? Because now marlin is no longer
I think you
allowed
said
to
mahi
be
mahi.
we're doing
It's
mahi. Yeah, we're
Okay.
doing mahi.
great
Yeah,
Okay, and
for
again,
that.
that's I'm gonna dive into that in a minute.
Yeah.
First, I can't resist this little taquito
Doesn't it look
here.
nice?
Yeah, those are powerful little
Looks
bites there.
really
Those
nice.
that's
Did
those.
you say that was
now-
ahi tuna?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
ahi #1 sashimi quality tuna. Same tuna we use in our sushi program.
Oh, ahi tuna.
So
Okay.
and then it's got a little pickled onion on top. We do in
Sell
house
me.
some tortilla
I'm gonna
cheese.
spare you the
Right.
hideous sight of doing the big bite where I just usually consume
Well, that's
something in one.
that basically is almost that though.
Yeah,
So-
Are you encouraging it?
You got to do
I would
it.
go all in, maybe,
All
or
right.
maybe at least
'Cause,
2/3.
the other thing I do is like the crunch thing, this ASMR thing, which is called. I like the crunchy thing, but I'll do that for the spring roll.
Right.
I will go in with this. I'll do it all in one.
You
bite.
can.
Why
I don't want to. So.
not?
There you go.
Oh wow.
So then you get all the textural components there. You got a little bit of sweet, savory, the thing. You got the pickled red onion there and stuff. So.
It's finger licking good.
Yeah, it's
And-
good. It's a compact little bite, but the quality of fish that we use is top notch.
Melts in
With
your
that.
mouth,
Yes.
and it's got that. I love when you have the crunch contrast with
Right.
something that's really smooth and silky.
Yep.
So you pretty much nailed it on that.
Well,
one.
I'm pretty much. You see, I think there's texture plays a lot of importance in
Yep.
food. I mean, you don't want soft on soft. You don't want crispy on crispy. You really want to have that contrast and stuff. And then we serve a lot. These things are meant to be shareables. Which is a great thing about happy hour. People are at a high top or too deep at a bar where they can reach over someone and grab a third spring roll or a second slider or a piece of sushi or make your own crisp here. So everything here is pretty much meant to be shared and to interchange with other people, so that you're not tied to like one appetizer yourself.
Yeah.
That you're sharing that.
It's happy hour. It's sociable. It's
Yeah,
fun.
everyone
So,
dive
we
in.
just got this new community table in the back here, which is a great 8 to 10 top. We got a couple more high tops on order, so people can do that same kind of dining out here for a happy hour, where you're sort of standing and reaching and talking and socializing at the same time when you're eating. So
And speaking of that, is it singles friendly or like solo diners? I know it's sometimes there's a topic on the group that people, that if they're alone, do they feel comfortable just coming out here, grabbing up a seat at the bar?
Oh,
We
yeah,
see that
I
a
think
lot.
so.
We have apartments and condos near us, so what we get a lot is people that
Want
You know,
to
my-
quick bite?
come down for a quick bite. Maybe they're bringing their dog for a walk. They want to come grab a drink at the bar, and the bartenders here are all
Maybe you meet a
phenomenal.
new
I was
friend.
going to say Ashley was great.
Especially
Ashley
on
sold me on
Thursday
3
night.
drinks. I mean, I was like, okay, Ashley.
we actually do a lot of cooking for the dogs here a little bit. Actually,
Yeah.
it's sort of funny.
Nice.
I sort of made a joke about it. I sort of this is the apex of my career now. I moved to Boca to cook for rich people's dogs.
That's not the worst thing.
But ironically, my fiance retired from the alcohol business after 40 years, and now she walks dog for a hobby and a living.
That's funny.
So I thought maybe we could open our own industry down the road, and she could walk the dogs, and I could actually cook for them.
I like it. It's like similar in the newspaper business. Like, top echelon would be at the Washington Post or New York Times, writing for the movers and shakers of the country. I was at the Sun Sentinel. I wrote for everybody's, all the high-power politicians' mothers.
Well, now we're remote working. They're all down here now too. So,
right,
that's
true.
So you can't pretty much specify your career to a certain proximity or destination in that country now. So,
Jeff, can you stick
I was gonna ask
around
you,
for another segment? Because we got to take a break.
Sure, why not?
Got to do some business, but I want to come back. I want to eat that Waldorf fish dip with the mahi, with the everything toasted bagel. It all looks good.
Fantastic.
I'm going to go out with a bite of the shrimp and rice noodle spring roll.
Right.
I'm going to do a little, not a big bite here. We're going to go with the ASMR. We're going to talk, whisper, and hopefully get people having a sensory overload here. We're going to go in for the crispy bite.
There you go.
He weirdly gets into it.
I almost fell asleep.
He gets super
It
into it.
hypnotizes some people.
I had a sensory overload there.
Totally appalled.
Super into it. That's my favorite part about it.
Yeah, we'll take a break on the lunchbox and be back after these words. For Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Fish, a sophisticated setting. I'm talking about Corvina Seafood Grill. It's at 110 Plaza Real South in Boca Raton, just south of Palmetto Park Road. It's the place to go for the freshest and local seafood and fish, some of it with a Peruvian twist like their great ceviches. It's open 7 days for dinner. They also have happy hours 7 days a week. You don't want to miss it. It's a great place. CorvinaBocaRaton.com for more information and reservations. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. We're back on the Lunchbox. We're at Corvina Seafood Grill in Boca Raton, right at 110 Plaza Real. And, it is a happening hotspot. We've got Chef Jeff Tunks. We've got the operating partner, Eddie Pizzoli, who you know from some other places around town. And I have just taken my first bite of your fish dip, Chef, and I pronounce it absolutely fantastic. It's got
it's not too mayonnaise-y.
It's not.
It's got the zing.
The bagel crisp is nice.
I like the more of the vinegary zing. And I apologize. It's been a long day. I said raisins. It's not raisins. It's grapes. It's the walnuts, the Waldorf salad.
Invented hotel in New York, right?
Yes,
exactly.
I was just around the corner from the Waldorf Astoria. Staying at the Hotel Warwick, another classic.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it was nice. But this is just as nice, having a little happy hour bite and libation here with y'all. I'm going to get in down there. And I guess, what's the inspiration in terms of, is it nice and liberating that if you want to put a new dish on the menu and kind of experiment and do some things, it's a little bit easier than maybe some of the bigger.
Yeah, and I think not being like an Italian restaurant or a French restaurant. I mean, just being a seafood restaurant, you have a lot of you're not pigeonholed. You have a lot of avenues to go down different routes, whether it be, Latin American cuisine, Asian influence.
We do have a couple pasta dishes, though.
We do have a couple pasta dishes,
Mhm.
because we felt that this part of Boca is very underserved with Italian food.
That's sarcasm, folks. But again, people love
And pasta
seafood
with
pasta.
seafood is
Yes, and
What are you doing
yeah,
now? Like
We're doing actually a colossal crab fra diavolo linguine with some like gremolata breadcrumbs on top, which is one of our better sellers and stuff.
you had
And
me a colossal crab.
That's
but
right,
throw
there
in
you
a
go.
little fra diavolo
Yeah,
linguine.
and I like, again, we talked about texture. I make a sort of a gremolata, which has got some Parmesan cheese, some lemon zest, some parsley, and some coarse toasted sourdough breadcrumbs on top.
Oh.
So I like that texture of pasta with the breadcrumbs on top.
I love fish with gremolata too. Do you do
Yeah.
any of that?
Yeah,
or
it's
is
something.
it-
Of course, that's a natural ossobuco. So I think a monkfish ossobuco would be good with that risotto and maybe a little gremolata on top of that.
Nice.
So it always cuts the fat a little bit of the gremolata.
This guy CIA, he knows what
This
he's
guy
doing.
knows.
It's been around the block.
And that is some fantastic stuff. This bagel crisp, I don't know how you
I'm
do
telling you,
it.
the bagel crisp is
But
it's
that
a
is
light
a
crunch.
perfect conveyor belt for
It's
this.
amazing
mahi
how
dip.
we'll sell 5 fish dips a night, but go through like 75 bagel crisps.
Say the crisps are great.
People, can I get more bagel crisps? Can I get more bagel crisps, of course? But no, we buy local bagels. We slice them thin on the slicer. We buy just a regular bagel,
Really?
and then we make our own everything bagel seasoning, and then we just brush them with butter, put them on a glazing rack in the oven, and then we bake
And you just
crisp.
slice them on a thin slicer?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Can I ask the source or no?
Of what the
Bagel.
we buy them from Boca Bagel right around the corner
Okay.
here. So yeah, so it's just a regular plain bagel. So we don't buy an everything bagel, but we do our own seasoning on
Yeah.
top of it.
And
Then,
you throw it on top, and we just slice it thin and
Right.
crisp it up.
Yep.
It's nice.
It makes a nice. It's better than just corn chips or whatever you could say.
Yeah, it's nice. Well, it's a crunch, but
And I
it's
think
not
sort of
overwhelming.
fits the theme of the smoked fish dip. So we put a little bit of, which I love. I think was one condiment. We use atomic horseradish here for our raw bar, and then we put a touch of that to give that little zing, along with the mayonnaise and fresh squeezed lemon
That's what I
juice and stuff.
detected. A little bit of that horseradish.
Just a little bit,
zing.
yeah.
That stuff will
And-
send you for a loop.
Yeah, it'll clear you
No.
out, which
It's very healthy. It's good. It clears the sinuses.
Yeah.
It's good for the bloodstream.
We've been to St. Elmo's and Indianapolis.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
With
their
their shrimp
the
cocktail.
shrimp cocktail. Yeah, that'll clear you out.
I was
pretty
a
good,
sports
yeah.
writer. Anytime you
Yeah,
were in Indianapolis,
that's
you had to go to
that's where
St.
that's where
Elmo's.
they do the draft or the combine, the scouting. So
I
definitely.
think were you there that night
We
when you
never
got muscled
in.
out?
Jim Gray got like the last
They
table,
got
and,
big-footed. Him
Defoe,
and his
to this day, never
sports
let it go.
radio partner were
Yeah.
in Indianapolis,
and we couldn't get in
waiting for
because
a
it was
table.
like it was the Super Bowl week. I mean,
Well, it's always one of the top grossing restaurants in the
Yeah.
country, and so it's been
They
there
do
forever.
they do a good job. They know what they're
But I
doing.
think the number one consumers of shrimp cocktail in the country.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
everybody
Which
you
you
have to have
I
it, type
which
thing.
you wouldn't think in the middle of nowhere,
right,
or in the
Indianapolis,
landlocked
right.
Indianapolis.
Plains,
Yes,
exactly,
but
yeah.
that's the marvel of overnight shipping. I'm gonna make my way down there in a minute, but Eddie, let's talk about. I mean, right now it's dinner service only, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Any thoughts of ever expanding it to the brunch, the weekend brunch?
I think in time, East Boca has always been more of the dinner-centric
Mhm.
area.
They're out playing golf in the morning. Is that
Well,
it?
a lot of what it is
Fishing
there's not many
on their boats.
offices.
Hmm.
There's not a huge concentration of offices for people to go out on lunch breaks and have lunch meetings and all that kind of stuff at. And generally for lunch, Meisner Park kind of lends itself to more of the lunch walkable mall-ish
Mhm.
kind of thing. So having a lunch here isn't the
It's
necessary
just not
priority.
cost effective. Yeah.
However, we're being told that a building no more than 100 yards from us on the other side of Palmetto is being demolished, hopefully by the end of the year, to make way for a beautiful new Class A office building.
Oh,
Oh
interesting.
wow. Okay. So
Actually-
office buildings equals lunch crowds. business
Exactly.
lunches.
So we're really excited for the opportunity to potentially do that in the future. But right now, the focus for us is to have a killer happy hour and a great dinner service where people can have phenomenal food, phenomenal fresh seafood, great service, and really just enjoy their time here.
Sounds pretty good to me. So Chef Jeff, I guess anything on the horizon for you in terms of just experimenting with other new flavors, dishes, or how do you stay current, or in terms of
Well, I mean, I love to travel. I mean, I think, and I think any chef, obviously I like to eat myself too by my stature.
Couldn't
So,
tell.
but, I like, I like to eat. I like to cook. I think at my age, I think, it's now with the internet and just looking at, menus and traveling and absorbing different cultures and stuff is the way I think we're always, at least I am, is still wanting to learn and still learning as we move along and stuff. But, we keeping a thumb on the pulse of different varieties and species. It's funny because coming from the Mid-Atlantic region for the last 25 years, and our first season of soft shell crabs always come from down here, but soft shell crabs is not a big thing down in Florida.
I was gonna say
It's not.
It's not, but when the season starts, this is where they come from. They migrate up through Savannah and Brunswick, and all the way to then the Chesapeake is when they finally, during the peak of August and September, and stuff. And we also have some fresh, great crab, and we do have a crab cake here. But I want to find a better source, of getting some really good, sweet, fresh jumbo lump coming from the Mid-Atlantic region and stuff, or even the Gulf Coast of Alabama and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I love a good soft shell crab po' boy.
Oh,
I mean, in New
sandwich.
Orleans, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's any fried oyster po' boy and
that's my
the
favorite.
peacemaker and stuff like that. But being fortunate enough to work in, as we mentioned, on all three coasts and travel quite a bit. We're sourcing and trying to bring in, and that's the thing. We print our menu daily, so we're not tied to anything that's laminated or and we're able to sort of react and adjust our price points very quickly and stuff, and that way we can bring in things and take things off that are moving and just constantly evolving, which is great.
And again, freshness is paramount, especially when it
Especially
comes to
seafood, yes,
So you're moving the product, it's seeing what
Yeah, and
works,
that's
what doesn't.
fortunately we're getting product, basically almost 7 days a week. We keep everything very tight, and that's a difficult thing. We have a very big menu. We have a big raw bar program. We have sushi and stuff, and we have like 6 or 7 catches. And the frustrating part, and I can see people come in and see halibut as a special, then all of a sudden by 8 o'clock we're out of the halibut, and people sort of realize, well, that's how it's fresh because. Yep. Tomorrow we're getting more halibut in. So I'm not ordering halibut for the week, and I'm not opening the freezer door to thaw more halibut for tomorrow. It's coming in fresh. We're cutting it fresh. We're hopefully selling it out that night. And, they say fish is like company after 3 days. It's just leave, so.
And you know what else? Good fish isn't necessarily cheap, and cheap fish ain't necessarily good.
All you have to do is go to Whole Foods and go to the seafood department and see, why is that piece of swordfish costing me $40 or halibut $42 and things like that.
It's because you're getting quality, fresh product, and people have to understand that out there. Again, on the group, there's a lot of look. I understand, money is tight, and obviously there's been some inflation, but to run a restaurant, to properly get the preparation that you need and the labor that you need, it costs a little money, but here you get the great values when you come out on a happy hour. You come out on a Tower Tuesday.
Oh, that by far is our best deal ever, because that's probably even my highest food cost without the discount.
Right.
Right now I'm paying, for example, those last Tuesday we had, I'm getting Irish Point oysters from Prince Edward Island. They're $1.24 a piece for me, and that's each one open perfectly, which is impossible.
Right.
Or each one's
with no spoilage, no waste.
Exactly.
Right.
My 1 pound lobster prices, when you get a whole lobster per the full tower, is $17.95 a pound right now for lobster, and that's and most of them are over a pound, so the average is about $21 a piece. And colossal crab meat's about $40 a pound. So by the time you start adding all this up, you get 12 shrimp, 12 oysters, a full lobster, 4 ounce of colossal crab meat on a full tower. It's probably
that's it. I'm coming every Tuesday. It's
Sorry, at least $50 or $60 worth of seafood that you're getting for $80 because it's half price, or so. It's a great value.
It's a good deal. Come on in, check it out on a Tuesday, and then come back on a weekend. What's been your, busiest nights are the typical Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, and the Tower Tuesday has become good. I mean, this time of year, we're, every night's pretty good. But yeah, the nights that we are, pushing the 300 covers are definitely Friday and Saturday. Friday is sort of the perfect storm because we have a really busy happy hour that goes to 7 o'clock. So you're getting that happy hour push along with, the first wave of a la carte diners and stuff. So, but yeah, so it's good.
I know we're going to take a break, but I wanted to ask you, you brought up the group, but what I want to touch on was a lot of time people will say you can't find this here, you can't find that here. And as someone who I've traveled the world, I've traveled the country, you travel the country looking for food. I mean, that's what you do. You've cooked around the country. What are your thoughts on not the clientele per se of South Florida, but the food scene? Because to me, over the years, I've been in New York. I've heard great things about Chicago. I've been to San Francisco. I love New Orleans. These are great food regions.
Right.
And I can't wait to go back to them. But I'd put South Florida up with any of them. I mean, when you go from north to south to southern South Florida and the flavors we have and the taste we have, and you guys, and I appreciate that you're embracing it and putting it here on the menu each and every day here at Corvina. What are your thoughts on the South Florida food scene overall?
Well, I think, I think it's great. I mean, it's really grown. I think, a friend of mine, Fabio, just opened up Fiolina Pasta Bar over here in Boca in the little strip area, which I think is fantastic.
And he did a great job down in Coral Gables.
Yeah, definitely. And, a lot of people are coming to Florida and opening concepts. For me, coming from Northern Virginia, D.C., which is such an ethnic hub, there's some things I do miss. I mean, I miss good dim sum that I have to drive for to go to.
Yeah, there's a couple of places, but there's really no Ethiopian.
Right, no
African,
you start talking
stuff
the
you see in
Ethiopian in
DC.
DC like that, really high end, great Vietnamese, great Korean barbecue and stuff is really
It
prevalent
all
there.
exists down
But
here.
I'm seeing it come.
It's a little
There's
more
a
spread
lot of
out.
seeing
It's a little
come.
bit more spread
You
out.
have to have wheels, and you
Yeah.
have to have good GPS, and you have to not be averse to
You got to have a
check
good
it
group
out.
to tell
And
you
follow-
where to
and
go.
follow your group, right?
Exactly. It's great
and
about that.
check out. Don't be afraid of some strip malls because there's
Right.
some
Yes. Oh,
very
yeah.
unassuming
Yes.
places. But again, the diversity here is wonderful, and the diversity on this menu
Right
that
here.
you exhibit at Corvina is something to be appreciated.
And we have good. The one thing people, because people, think, obviously Corvina Seafood Grill, it resonates seafood, but we have a USDA prime, New York
For
strip
the
steak.
landlubbers, there are some people.
We have
who
3
just-
steaks on the menu. We have 2 different kinds. I think our jerk chicken will rival anybody's
Nice.
jerk
We have
chicken.
a phenomenal.
That's
chicken.
our
I
employees'
didn't know
favorite.
that.
That's our employees' favorite meal that they
Okay.
order.
Yeah.
and
Really?
Stuff, yeah. So
Well, that's interesting.
we do with ripe plantains and peas and rice and a homemade jerk sauce and so
Nice.
so yeah.
So that's something to consider. You could
That's
always
right.
come and check out some of
Well, a little bit of everything.
If
That's what we love.
somebody's not a pescatarian in your group, you can always come to Corvina Seafood Grill and get something to eat.
That is good to know. And are you still doing the Brazilian seafood stew, or is that off
Yeah,
the
we're
menu?
doing the moqueca. Yeah, we're
Moqueca
doing that.
is
We do
still
that.
there.
Yeah, we do that pretty authentic. I had a contemporary Latin American restaurant called Saba in DC, and we did some R&D trips down to the Bahia region, Salvador and stuff, and Brazil. And so, I go to the Boca market that's over in 441 to buy my dinde oil and the farofa for that.
Okay.
The malagueta peppers, the whole deal. So we do the coconut milk, and so it's our, every nationality, whether it be sopa de peixe or
I
bouillabaisse
know.
or
The man
My
knows
wife's
his
Dominican.
stuff. He knows to go to
I'm impressed.
441. There's some
Yeah.
great Brazilian
I love
markets and
this.
bakeries.
Well, that's when I
along
first
there.
did it. I mean, I went to all the farmers markets. I've been to, we've done a couple of dinners at Swank Farms with Jody out there and
she
stuff,
does
and
a
integrating
wonderful
with
job.
that.
Yep.
We buy our pita for Suzuki from Pita Pan Bakery, which I think does a wonderful job, also on 441. And there's one in Sunrise, I believe, the original store for
Nice.
fresh pita and stuff.
Nice.
So, I really immersed myself in the food community
great.
coming down here and just did a lot of R&D.
Again, mad respect
That's
for a chef
fantastic.
that's been around 40 years and he knows where to go and how to hunt out all these.
Oh, he's going
Right.
finding
Really
all
good
those
ingredients.
little corner
Right.
stories like, I found this.
I
here,
love that
found
he's
this
open
here.
to. He wants to keep growing and learning. Like that's
Yeah.
what's great about South Florida. The food scene to me is it's ever growing and
It
it's
is.
learning and it's expanding.
And there's new, populations coming in all the time, depending on what the, geopolitical
And our staff
forces
is
are
our
going-
staff is like a the UN here. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got and you have to get feedback off them.
I like
Of
that.
course, DC we had a huge Salvadorian community with pupusas and stuff, but
Oh.
here, of course, you got the Haitian and Guatemala and stuff. So you're always sort of you get
Haitians
it
with
relief,
griot.
yes,
Yeah, you got
exactly.
all kinds. It's great. It is, and I'm glad that you are open to
That's great.
Yeah, that's the way you learn.
incorporating all
Keep it
these
stimulated,
ingredients in the menu here.
Well,
at
and it
Corvina.
makes the team, and it's something we've learned from Eddie, great management, a great chef. You're incorporating everyone into it.
Everybody gets engaged.
They feel a
buy
part
in.
of it.
Yeah. It's all about the buy-in. from
And
the
I think we
team.
do a good job pairing our beverage program with some of our influences too from the thing, with the pisco sour and the
Yep,
pepperina and things
Yep,
like
yep,
that.
yep.
Also,
Pisco sour even has a little mermaid.
Got a little
Doing
mermaid.
There you
the
go.
backstory.
That's right. That's way you can count your
Nice,
drinks,
nice.
Mike. So
How many mermaids
Just
you have?
save the mermaids,
We're still on one.
Yeah.
Jeff, we're going to let you get back to
Fantastic.
the
Yeah, you
kitchen,
gotta
get back
catch
to
him
work.
around.
Appreciate great
we
opportunity.
really appreciate you
This has been fantastic.
stopping by and visiting.
Sure.
I look forward to
Yeah.
getting back out here more often.
Yeah, I
and,
can't wait.
Again, kudos, great job on the menu, on the $10 bites on the happy hour
Yeah.
menu, and that's 7 days a week, which is
That's
outstanding.
amazing.
Yes, it's
And,
great value.
and we'll have Eddie sticking around because we'll wrap up the show after these words on the Lunchbox from Corvina.
Great.
Food from a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar. A great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. Hey, it's Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, and also now with a new location on Las Olas Boulevard. Those are my spots. Upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and daily fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have daily happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for an exquisite sushi experience, Kaizen Sushi Bar and Grill in Fort Lauderdale is the place to go. 5640 North Federal Highway, just north of Commercial Boulevard. Chef owner Hui Lam, he's a sushi savant, slicing and serving pristine fish and seafood flown in directly from Japan and around the world. Nigiri, sashimi, special rolls, and omakase dinners. He's ruined me from going anywhere else. It's that good. Open 7 days for dinner and also for lunch on weekends. Even if you're not a sushi fan, they have great cooked options, including steaks, chops, rice and noodles, and other Japanese dishes. It's fantastic. For reservations and information, go to kaizenflorida.com. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk, and soon in Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for Sunday brunch, and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new birria tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sampler that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo, the Lunchbox sent you.
Just the whole South Florida scene, like you mentioned, Lubie, it's just booming. Everywhere you go, there is good food, and
I
you can
appreciate
find it.
Eddie for finding a chef who embraces that mentality.
Yeah, it's all good. All right, Eddie Pizzoli, as usual, a pleasure to sit, chat, and eat and drink here at Corvina Seafood Grill, 110 Plaza Real. Am I pronouncing it right? It's not Plaza Real. It's a Real Plaza.
Very
Real.
fancy. South.
Okay.
Plaza
Right.
Real South.
South. Plaza Real South You'll find it. It is a fantastic place for dinner 7 nights a week with happy hour 7 days a week.
That's crazy.
Come check it out. Meanwhile, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Till
guys.
then,
Appreciate you.
enjoy every tuna taquito. I'm going to down this one in
There you
another
go.
big bite.
Have at it.
And
You couldn't
enjoy
resist.
every